You know, I've never really thought of myself as an artist. I still don't think of myself as an artist. Whether it's playing music, back when I did it, professionally, but even photography. I've never considered myself a photographer. But yet somehow, not somehow, I know how, but yet I wanted to upgrade my camera system. Even setting up as simple as I try to keep this podcast, setting up the podcast, my cameras, the lenses I've bought to upgrade the quality. That's what I'm learning, is the quality is what is the point. What's up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Moving with Life. Andy here. And today I was gonna do the recording outside because we were supposed to get like a cool front, but it's not as cool as I thought it was gonna be, so we're here. Again, same simple podcast setting so that I can focus on the material and the quality of what I'm bringing to the episode. It's made me think a lot because I've been watching Peter McKinnon's bringing videos out again more frequently. Casey Neistat's bringing videos out more frequently, and those are some of my favorite creators that I've found on YouTube, and that I've never tried to emulate. I do feel like it's impossible, but nonetheless, when I watch their material, I always think like, what is it that gravitates me? And I'm learning that it's about, again, the quality. It's the way they do things. It's their approach to their style of the artistry. And so, first point for today is just that. When I was a musician, yes, I was a musician, but I was Andy. And even with a stage name, Andy Walker, at the end of the day, though, I was Andy. And then I joined the military, and yes, I was in the military. Yes, I was in the military. Now I was, we're in past tense. But nonetheless, what I'm learning about myself is that I do care about the quality of whatever's being done by me. And so, yes, you can chase a label, and there's been other podcasts that I've listened to over the past week or so where, being a businessman, you let that define you. Being a salesman lets that define you. Being an XYZ, that's what defines you. I wouldn't be me without this. That's okay. But again, when I look at some of my favorite creators, and as I'm finding my outlet, it's like, okay, what do I get from them? Again, reiterating, is just that, well, I want good quality things so that when my wife sees something that I did, when my daughter sees something that I did, it's like, man, that's really nice. And it's not so much about getting the feedback of, oh, it's nice, or even expecting the feedback of it being nice. It's the premise of, I go into it wanting for it to be notable. And that's what something even Seth Godin has brought up, where, what makes something remarkable? To being remarkable means you have something to say about it. And why that is, that's a whole different thing that I don't know yet. But I just know that coming into even making the podcast, trying to keep up this week to week trend, that it's about the standard, and it's not to say, oh, I am, it's nowhere near that, definitely. But I do know that when I put out a project, whatever it is, and usually it's just personal, because the only thing that I've really brought out to the public more than it's the Instagram is doing this podcast. And so another thing that I thought about was the fact that I still own all the music gear that allowed me to make it a job. It allowed me to be a musician as a job, not just as a hobby, not just something I do at home. And really, what I learned about that gear is that I've invested in particular things. And it's funny because I've had this laughing conversation about how me and most of the people that I associate myself with, we all have expensive hobbies. Now it's only one hobby. Let's just say photography, camera, content creating, like kind of that's one bubble. Musicians, You know, you can spend $1,000 very, very quickly. And with that, photography, in my case, photography and being a musician, is that I care about again, it goes back to the quality. The telly that I have, I bought that telly because it's made in the USA. And when you play it compared to a guitar that's made in another country, even the same brand, I feel the difference. I hear the difference. And my musician friends will say the same thing about their specialty, whether it's singing, playing, drumming, whatever that looks like. And so, again, it's just one more thing to tack on as far as, oh, this is what it means when it comes to doing something. It's about doing it. Essentially, it's about doing it right. And it's something that it takes me a while to even get to this episode of talking about it, because I didn't know what it was. I like having a certain type of feedback from my camera. I guess that's some of it too. The final point to transition, it's a hard transition, but nonetheless, is when I talk about getting the feedback from my camera and kind of building something, because I mean, it's not full obviously, but I have a terabyte external hard drive full of photos. The relationship I'm trying to bring up is, you know, I'm building a hutch. My dad's helping me out, and we're building. It's called a rabbit hutch. Essentially, it's a rabbit cage because the one we have is getting bigger, and then for next year's shows, we'll have a place for those as well. And I started looking online, you know, Amazon, other specialty stores that sell already made rabbit hutches. And while some of them are nice, some of them can be pricey depending on what you want. I started having this vision in my head of like, what if I could, yes, make it, but it's like, I think it started off as, can I do it cheaper than having to buy one? And the answer was yes. But then it's like, okay, well, if I want to make it, it needs to be, again, going back to the premise of today is, if I'm going to make it, it needs to be good. I don't want it to tear down. I don't want it to get all corroded and ugly, you know, the wood to tear apart, or for even what's actually worse, in my opinion, is for something to happen to the animal. I don't want something to happen to the animal. How can we make this as safe as possible, as durable as possible? And so it took me a lot of it was because I'm in school and I'm dealing with that. So I had time to kind of sit and think, and I really ponder, and it's like, well, what about this? And then finally I started collaborating with my dad. He's like, well, what if we try this? And so we started on the hutch. The point is we started on the hutch. Once we got the skeleton really set out this week, my dad was like, I finally see what you've been talking about. He's like, I couldn't quite picture what you meant, but now that you've started putting the piece together, now I'm here helping you. Now it makes sense. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I apologize, because I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, sometimes I get these visions in my head, and it's like, it's possible. Like it is possible. Sometimes I'll have ideas in my head. I'm like, it goes by the wayside. But this has been one of those projects that it's going to happen, and it's not a nuance for me. It's just, it takes time. But once I get to the execution, it's like, okay, well, I want to make sure this is good. Again, primarily in this case of the rabbit hutch, it's safety is number one. But then number two is like, well, yes, as much as I would like it to last, yes, but with that comes the wanting that I want to make it right. I'm going to do it correctly. And so the challenge for y'all this week, has there been something that's been on your mind or is there something that you do that you don't claim yourself an identity? Again, in my case, I never claimed to be a photographer, or even, let's say, content creator, because for me, content creators are the ones making a living actively. You know, Peter McKinnon and Casey Neistat. And if you haven't heard about them, you can go look them up if you want. But my point is, you know, whether you're a writer, builder, creator, an artist, and your habits show that, you can choose to deny the label, or maybe even you are in this kind of quarrel with yourself about, if that's the case, for one, that's okay. And maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Again, for me, saying over and over again, is that I've been watching these videos of my favorite content creators and videographers and so on, And I'm like, why am I? Besides the storytelling, yes, I'm definitely 100% gravitated towards storytelling. That's why I watch them. But I still ask why, and I ask why, and I ask why, and it's like this week leading into today's episode is I finally realized that it's okay to care about the quality. You may or may not get recognized for it, but it's okay to care about the quality. And so I don't need to call myself an artist. We're here. I'm here. I try to do things well, and all purpose of the definition of doing things good and well or properly. It's the actual definition of that. And so I hope when you see the episode, if you go to my Instagram and you scroll and see some pictures are taken on my phone, some pictures are taken on actual camera. And generally you can kind of tell. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can generally kind of tell. And so hopefully that your habits keep moving into that creative space. Because I know for me, definitely what it helps me with is get through the week. It's not every day. I'm not doing a podcast a day or anything like that. But nonetheless, I feel like I need to do this. I need to find a way to get my mind off of the stuff that stresses me out just for a little bit. Because I'm going to go and I want to make sure the quality is good, make sure I get good grades, whatever that looks like. But nonetheless, quality. That's what I keep saying over and over again. And it's interesting because, again, something I'm still learning about myself in some way. But nonetheless, if the episode hit home, if it resonated in some way, don't forget to share it, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, if you're listening to this on Spotify, watching this on Spotify, don't forget to follow the show and leave a rating. Obviously, anything and everything helps. I appreciate it. If you've made it this far, if you drop a comment, make sure you tell me about something that you care about enough, that you care about it more than you care about the label that could come with it. And so, until next time, keep moving with life.